In the bustling heart of Lagos, where dreams are either broken or made, there was one woman who rose above all odds. Her name was Mrs. Lilian Thompson. Born into wealth, Lilian was the only surviving child of her parents. Her father, a respected businessman, and her mother, a quiet woman of grace, showered her with everything her heart desired. She was their jewel, their miracle child, their whole world. They pampered her, yes, but Lilian was not the kind of girl to be swallowed by luxury. While other children of her class spent money carelessly, she spent nights studying formulas, sketching ideas, and dreaming of building something of her own. By the age of 25, she had built what many thought impossible: Lily Cosmetics, a beauty brand that took the nation by storm. Lipsticks, foundations, powders, every woman wanted it, every magazine praised it, and every investor wanted a piece of it. Lilian was not just beautiful, she was brilliant, strong, and independent. But even the strongest hearts can be vulnerable. When Lilian met Richard, her world seemed complete. He was charming, tall, handsome, with a silver tongue that could melt any woman's resolve. He said all the right words, wore all the right suits, and carried himself like the prince she thought she deserved. Her parents, however, were not fooled. "Lilian, this man is not for you. He's after your wealth. Can't you see it?" Mr. Thompson said. "My child, open your eyes. A man who truly loves you will care for your soul, not your bank account." Her mother, Mrs. Thompson, pleaded, but love can be blind, deaf, and foolish. Against their warnings, Lilian married Richard. The wedding was grand, attended by politicians, celebrities, and business moguls. The media called it the union of beauty and power. But behind the golden smiles and diamond rings lurked the beginning of Lilian's greatest nightmares. At first, Richard played his role well. Publicly, he was affectionate. He held her hand at events, kissed her cheek in front of cameras, and called her my queen. But behind closed doors, he was different. Cold, dismissive, and above all greedy. He never asked about her well-being or cared about her dreams. All he ever spoke of was money. Worse still, Richard had a secret, a mistress. Her name was Gina. Beautiful, yes, but ruthless, cunning, and just as greedy as he was. While Lilian worked late into the night, managing her empire, Richard would sneak away to Gina's arms, promising her the world once he had drained his wife of everything. "Don't worry, baby. Be patient. Once I take full control of her company, we'll marry. You'll be the real Mrs. Richard. Just give me time," Richard whispered, and Gina would laugh, caress his cheek, and whisper back, "I trust you, Richard. Just don't waste too much time." Gina said, in the Lilian mansion, there was someone else who noticed everything. Daniel, the gardener, the errand boy, the graduate who life had humbled. Though his degree had failed to fetch him his dream job, Daniel carried himself with quiet dignity. He worked in Lilian's household, trimming flowers, washing cars, running errands. He was invisible to many, but not to the truth. Daniel saw things others didn't. He noticed Lilian's sadness. He saw Richard's coldness. He even caught glimpses of Richard sneaking out to meet Gina. But Daniel was loyal. He kept everything in his heart, sometimes sharing his worries only with the house girl. "Why does Madam suffer like this? She deserves so much better," he said softly. The house girl would sigh and say, "Daniel, keep quiet. It's not our place. She's still Madam." And Daniel would keep quiet, but his heart burned with silent concern. Lilian noticed everything, and instead of confronting him immediately, she decided to test the heart of the man she had married. She began to act weak, pretending she was sick. At first, she thought perhaps Richard would soften, perhaps he would show her a little care. But she was wrong. The weaker she became, the bolder Richard grew. He started spending more nights outside the home. He laughed on the phone with Gina, whispering words that pierced Lilian's heart. And one night, she heard it clearly, Richard telling Gina to be patient, that once Lilian was gone, they would finally be together. Lilian froze. Her heart shattered into pieces. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't think. Her world was collapsing. But then, her pain turned to something else. Strength. That night, she called her trusted doctor. Lilian, calm, cold. "Dr. Akin, I need your help. If Richard wants me dead, then dead I shall be. But only to him. The plan was dangerous, risky, but she was determined. And so, the news spread the next morning. Breaking news. Mrs. Lilian Thompson, CEO of Lily Cosmetics, passes away after a brief illness. The country mourned. Newspapers carried her face. Employees wept outside headquarters. Her parents were heartbroken, and Daniel sat in the garden, tears rolling down his cheeks like one who had just lost someone so dear to him. But Richard? He popped champagne. For the next 2 weeks, he and Gina lived like royalty, dining in luxury hotels, shopping in Dubai, celebrating the death of the woman he once called wife. Richard to Gina, "She's gone, baby. Everything is mine now. Our time has come." And Gina kissed him, laughing. Little did he know, his time of disgrace was near. 2 weeks had passed since the world believed Mrs. Lilian was gone. Richard walked into Lily Cosmetics headquarters, dressed in his finest suit. He carried a briefcase and a smug smile. Employees watched him with disgust as he strutted down the hallway. "Look at him, not even a single tear." One of the employees whispered, "He only cares about her money." The other added. Richard ignored them. He had waited long enough. Today, he would claim everything. He pushed open the boardroom doors and froze. Sitting at the head of the table, calm, radiant, and very much alive, was Mrs. Lilian Thompson. Her black power suit gleamed. Her eyes were cold, steady, unforgiving. Richard's briefcase slipped from his hand. Richard, stammering, "Oh, Lilian, you're supposed to be..." Lilian interrupted him. "Dead? No, Richard. Only our marriage is." She slid a folder across the table, divorce papers, and another, recordings of his conversations with Gina. The room went silent. Lilian, cold, steady. "You plotted with another woman to steal from me. You celebrated my death. But today, the world will celebrate your disgrace." Richard dropped to his knees, begging, sweating, shaking. Richard, pleading, "Lilian, please forgive me. I was confused. It's Gina's fault." But Lilian only stood. Lilian, commanding, "Get out of my sight, Richard. You will never see me or my company again." Security entered. Richard was dragged out, shouting, humiliated. Gina never showed her face again. Days later, Lilian sat in her garden, looking at the flowers. For the first time in months, she could breathe freely. Her eyes caught sight of Daniel, watering the plants quietly, as he always did. She watched him for a long time. She remembered the nights he caught her when she stumbled, the quiet way he respected her space, the concern in his eyes whenever she was weak. Daniel didn't know she was watching. To him, she was Madam. He was just a gardener. But Lilian saw more. She saw a man who had loved her silently, not with words, but with actions. That evening, she called him. Lilian, soft, calm. "Daniel, come. Sit with me." Daniel looked shocked. Daniel, nervous. "Madam? Me? No, it's fine. I can stand." Lilian, smiling slightly. "Please, seat." He obeyed, awkwardly, unsure what to say. Lilian, gently, "You've watched me suffer. You've seen everything Richard did. Yet you stayed silent." "What?" Daniel lowered his gaze. Daniel, quietly, "Because you're Madam. It was not my place. I only prayed for you. I only wanted you safe." Lilian's eyes filled with tears. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a small velvet box, and opened it. Inside was a ring. Daniel's eyes widened. Daniel, confused. "Madam, what is this?" Lilian, with emotion. "This is me, asking you to be my husband." Silence. Daniel froze. Daniel, shaking his head. No, Madam. I'm just a gardener. You deserve better." Lilian took his hand, her voice trembling but strong. "Lilian, no, Daniel. I deserve a man who loves me, truly. A man who stood by me even when I didn't see him. You are that man." She placed a ring in his palm. Lilian, smiling through tears. "Take it and propose to me properly. Let me hear it from your lips." Daniel's hands trembled. Slowly, he knelt before her. Daniel, with emotion. "Mrs. Lilian, no. Lilian, will you marry me?" Tears rolled down her cheeks. Lilian, smiling. "Yes, Daniel. 1,000 times yes." They embraced, a gentle, pure embrace. For the first time in years, Lilian felt love, real love. A year passed. Lilian was no longer just the CEO of Lily Cosmetics. She was a wife and soon to be a mother. Her belly grew with life, and Daniel never left her side. Her parents, once worried she would never find happiness, now welcomed Daniel with open arms. And together, they built a home filled not with money alone, but with love, trust, and peace. In Daniel, Lilian found what no amount of wealth could buy: a man who saw her, loved her, and protected her when she was at her weakest. And in Lilian, Daniel found a queen, not of riches, but of heart. Their story became a lesson that love is not about diamonds or money or fame. It is about loyalty. It is about patience. It is about seeing someone's soul and choosing them anyway. And so, the once broken CEO, who faked her own death to expose betrayal, rose again, not just as a businesswoman, but as a wife and mother. Mrs. Lilian Thompson and Daniel lived happily ever after. And what can we take away from Lilian's story? First, love should never blind you to the truth. If someone does not value your soul, then they are not worth your life. Remember this: true love is not in the sweet words people say, but in the quiet actions they show every day. Sometimes, the greatest betrayal will come from the very people closest to you, but patience and loyalty always reveal the right ones at the right time. And above all, never forget, wealth can buy luxury, but it will never buy genuine love. Thank you for watching till the end. If you found this story interesting, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more inspiring stories. And we'd love to hear from you. Tell us how you feel about the characters in the comments section below.